Welcome to Stecker Studios. In this episode, we make a jack-o'-lantern pinch pot. We're going to start our jack-o'-lantern pinch pot like we would with any other pinch pot, by rounding off our clay and forming a ball. So smack the clay back and forth in your hands, and round off the edges until you get a ball shape. Now that we have a nice ball shape, we're going to start to open up our pinch pot. We're going to do this by sticking our thumb into the ball of clay and beginning to slowly and gently pinch around in a circle. We're going to repeat this process to keep opening up our ball of clay, just slowly pinching and turning the clay in our hands. It's important to keep the clay in your hand the whole time to prevent it from flattening out on the bottom. As you can see, the clay is starting to open up a little bit. And now we're going to begin to work our way up the middle, again slowly pinching and slowly turning it. As I start to work my way up to the top of the pot, I'm trying to keep in mind that I want to keep the top of it pretty narrow. So I'm pushing out the center of the clay and making it nice and round and widening it, but at the top I'm trying to keep the clay a little bit thicker for now and also just trying to keep that opening narrow. Later I'm going to close it up by pinching it together or collaring it. Now that I reach the top, I'm beginning to pull the clay more straight up and actually start to taper it in just a bit. I'm still working on widening the center, and now I'm starting to collar the clay just kind of by choking it a little bit and pinching and folding some of the clay over and then smoothing it out again. So repeatedly collaring it and turning, bringing the clay back together at the top. Give it a pinch every so often so it doesn't get too thick. For now, I'm just keeping my index finger inside the pot as I use my thumbs to squeeze the clay together and pinch it together a little bit more narrow. And now I can start to collar it in a little bit more and push the clay up until I get it just about closed up. Now that I got the top almost closed up, I'm going to rub a little water, get the clay nice and soft, and begin to start pinching it together to seal up the top of the pumpkin. It's okay to have it sealed up as an air bubble for now. It'll actually help us to form it and get the shape of the pumpkin a little bit better, so we can kind of press on the clay a little bit, and the bubble inside will allow it to be just a little bit more forgiving. I'm also going to go ahead and kind of pinch that part where I sealed it up and form a stem. While the clay is still soft and sealed up, this is a great time to really refine that pumpkin shape. Really kind of squeeze it to the shape you're looking for. And then we're also going to flatten out the bottom just a little bit so that it can sit without falling over. You can take care of any surface cracks or stresses that you've gotten just by wetting your finger and rubbing the clay smooth. I'm just trying to form the stem a little bit more and make it a little bit more pronounced and defined, and just try to finish off smoothing out my pumpkin. Lastly, for this phase, we're going to take a straight tool and begin to put some ridges into our pumpkin. So just kind of take the straight tool and press it into your pumpkin on the top and just rotate it down to the bottom. And that's just about it for our pumpkin. In the next video, we'll start to carve it and create our jack-o'-lantern. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing.